There's an indoor saltwater pool across the street I use a couple times a week during this season. Sometimes I'm the only one in, or even, since there's no lifeguard, around the pool. Other times it's so crowded I'm reminded of the French municipal pools I used to swim in decades ago when I first lived abroad, in which lap swimming was a contact sport. Like those frog ponds, my local pool has no lane dividers, making jam-packed days truly swim at your own risk. In a past life, I must have been a fish, because I'm willing to put up with just about anything to get my swim fix. This doesn't mean I don't sometimes turn surly, especially when someone not just gets but stays in my way. I've been known to deliver withering stares through befogged goggles, breathlessly sputter words of a most unkind nature, even when sufficiently riled, spew forth the occasional expletive. On this particular occasion, I was fortunate enough to be alone in the pool for the first half of my mile-long swim, at which point I was joined by an elderly woman in an indigo one-piece who, rather than swimming, decided to float on her back at the steps with her spindly, pale legs outstretched into my lane. Initially, I thought this annoyance would pass as soon as she got bored enough to do something else, like swim. But she must have bobbed in my way like a gangly flotation device for 20 minutes as I stroked back and forth, growing ever more indignant at what I perceived to be the usual touristic obliviousness. At length, chafed but having managed to hold my tongue, I finished my laps, removed my goggles, and stood stretching within an inch of the woman's bunion toes. I noticed she was clinging to the diagonal rail beside the steps, but didn't think much of it until she addressed me on my way up out of the pool. "I'm having a bit of a hard time here," she said in a Midwestern accent, upturned blue eyes wide with fright. "I can't seem to become vertical. Would you mind helping me, please?" "What do you mean you can't become vertical? Can't you pull yourself up?" "No. I've been trying, but I can't seem to make it work. You see, I just had brain surgery and didn't realize my motor skills had been affected this way." It finally penetrated my thick skull that the woman hadn't been floating all this time. She'd been drowning.